Hi guys! So a few of you have asked about my garden and what I grow. A shout out to Maggie and Chris who said, hey, how about a video of your garden? So today you're going to see the August tour of my garden. I'll show you the native plants that I grow. So welcome to my garden. Come on in. Come on in, and here we are. Here's a little seating area for us. And here I want to show you a native grass, little blue stem. And little blue stem is a wonderful grass for skippers. It attracts a lot of the skippers with the small butterflies that you often see in your garden and may not even notice. But I did want to point out the arbor. From the arbor to the back of the garden, this is not a large area. It is roughly 32 feet by 32 feet. So you can do this and you can have native plants and have a very active garden for pollinators in a small area. I have other areas on the side of my house that I plant as well, but this is what I consider my garden. This arbor is covered by our native coral honeysuckle with this beautiful orangey red color. And this plant, this is August. This has been blooming since early spring. In the spring, it is absolutely gorgeous, completely covered in orange flowers. But it will continue to bloom really until frost, just not as heavily as it does in the spring. Coral honeysuckle, another benefit is it does attract pollinators. In fact, in my garden, this is the best plant for hummingbirds. It's usually when I find hummingbirds, it will be using coral honeysuckle. Another lovely feature about coral honeysuckle is it produces berries. So for example, it has these orange colored berries here, which are very attractive. So just an all-around attractive plant. Now, this one is not deer resistant. You do have to protect it, which is why you see no leaf growth here at the bottom. You will have to protect it until it gets high enough that the deer can't reach it. But if you do that, if you plant some coral honeysuckle, you protect it, wait for it to get large enough, then you can remove your protection for it, and you will be rewarded with this beautiful plant that can attract hummingbirds and other pollinators to your garden. So don't confuse coral honeysuckle with the invasive Japanese honeysuckle that we have everywhere. Make sure that you are looking for our native, and you'll have this beautiful vine. Now I want to move on and show you my next plant, which is summer sweet. You should be able to see a number of insects buzzing around it. It's always full of pollinators. I wish that you could smell just how wonderful this smells, because going by it, you don't even have to get close, which is why it's called summer sweet, because of the fragrance. This particular variety, there are a number of varieties. This one is rosea, which grows very tall. There are shorter ones that only come up about 3 feet tall, called hummingbird. So there are a number of other cultivars available. This one starts out more pink and then starts fading to white. So it's got a pinkish, whitish combination to it, and the butterflies and other pollinators love it. Long bloom time as well, so July into August, and you'll have this wonderful fragrance in your garden. Our next native that I'd like to show you is this very fine-leaved Huberts blue star. In the spring, this has silvery blue flowers. But it's really at its peak in the fall when it turns completely yellow. And so you have these very lovely yellow needles that brighten up the garden. It's deer resistant as well, so it's a good plant in the spring for its silvery blue flowers and in the fall for its bright yellow color. So from Hubert's blue star, I'm going to show you a plant that's quite a bit different from that, but also with narrow leaves, and that is Pearly Everlasting, with these white blooms that are used by people in dried flower arrangements. I like to dry flowers. And also the larval host plant for the American lady caterpillar. So this attracts butterflies and other pollinators to your garden as well. Here we have an American lady on anise hyssop. This is the butterfly that lays its eggs on pearly everlasting. As I'm moving on, I'm going to focus on the native plants, so I'm not going to discuss some of the other plants in my garden because, again, I want to teach you about natives and give you some opportunities to grow them. So the next plant that I'm going to show you here is anise hyssop, or agastaki, another fantastic plant for pollinators, and fragrant smells of licorice, is edible, and always also full of activity. Above it is more summer sweet, and on this arbor we have more of the coral honeysuckle over the arbor. Thank you for joining us on our tour today of my garden in August. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe. I will be doing a tour again in the autumn so you can see the bright colors and how the colors change in the autumn. But I hope you enjoyed it, and thanks from Native Plant Channel.